It's Detective Nadya.
What do I have here?
The victim is a 31-year-old woman. There are no visible signs of offense or anything. We don't really know any cause of death, so what do you think?
You can close this case. It's obvious.
But how? How do you know?
Fairly easy, Watson. She hasn't bought yarn for 7 days. Nobody could have saved her. She was doomed. Yeah.
Okay, I may be a little bit overdramatic about it, but let me just say that. Deciding that you're going on a yarn ban, that's fun, that's very motivational, that's really cool. Keeping through this yarn ban, not exactly my cup of tea. Hello, my knitting friends and buddies. My name is Nadya. I'm the face behind the LemonKnitting channel where we discuss all things knitting. Today we have a lot of things on the agenda. First of all, we're gonna have some design reveals. Then we're gonna have a rant on what I made, what I finished, what I'm working on a small knitting burnout, and also on trying to use your yarns from stash. It's a big problem for me, and I can see on the internet that's already a big problem for a lot of you guys. So let's have a talk about it as well. And also, as always, I will have a little blog on the media that I consumed during January. So grab your beverage of choice and let's get into it. Okay, I don't want to be the person who tries to ignore the elephant in the room until the end of the video so that people stay there and farm engagement. So let's start with the most interesting thing that was in the title, so that probably drew you in. If you're not subscribed to my channel, by the way, I would love it if you actually subscribed and stayed with me. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, so if you like this video for some reason, consider subscribing. But yes, Valentine's Day is just around the corner, which means that we are all in this spring mood, liking bright colors, a lot of heart motifs and stuff like that. Even though the weather in most of our countries absolutely sucks right now. I don't know about other countries, but I definitely know that in Denmark, in all cities today, we are definitely not having the spring vibes here. We have a snowstorm, we have very, very, very strong winds for a few weeks already, so it doesn't really feel like the nature is waking up after winter. No. We're having full-on winter. But that doesn't mean that we need to be in the winter mindset. We can dream of the spring, of all the leaves, of all the flowers blooming and everything. That's why I created the Parrot Love Beret. Parrot Love Beret is a classic French style beret with a heart-shaped pom-pom on top of it. It's inspired by the pink cockatoo and their colors of their feathers, and it's literally how I envision spring being. It has contrast ribbing in magenta color and this lovely pink, yellow, and white yarn as the main color. And you might ask, what is this gorgeous yarn? And this yarn is actually by the brand that I'm collaborating with on this gorgeous design. This is Gingham Pink Cockatoo colorway of their BFL yarns. It's super soft and it's held double throughout the project. And what is the coolest is that we're gonna have a full kit available for you to get, where you will get yarn to make this beret and obviously the pattern itself, so that we can all enjoy the spring colors and the bright colors on our heads. Also, it's quite warm, so even if you live in Denmark, it might be something you can wear until the actual spring comes. The kits will be released on the 14th of February, just in time for Valentine's. And first they will be sold on Kremesse in Aalborg in Gigantium. So if you have time to go, it's going to be on 14th and 15th of February. So if you want to just meet me and Annemelle from Fingernamt, definitely come and say hi. We will be there both 2 days. And after that, the kits will be sold through Etsy of Fika. So if you want to grab a kit with this particular yarn, you know where to find it. And by the way, why is it pink cockatoo inspired? That's because Anna loves parrots and actually all animals. So her collections of yarns always are inspired by animals and birds and every living creature that she loves. So they are always coming from something in nature, which I think is really cool. I might be getting old because I really feel like everything coming from nature and from the world around us that does not involve humans and human creations is really awesome. I guess I'm just like needing to feel myself closer to the ground because, the world is insane right now. Absolutely insane. And I'm sorry, it's going to be a little rant, but oh my God, what is going on? When my friends tell me about things going on in US, in some European countries as well, I don't understand how that is happening. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am kind of used to the world being crazy. I mean, I come from Russia. I know this stuff, but I always felt like it was kind of condensed in my country. But now it's everywhere. Politicians are going crazy. Laws being promoted are insane. For example, LGBTQ plus propaganda is now considered illegal in Kazakhstan. What is that? And in each and every country, there is something crazy going on. And I'm so sorry for everybody who feels distressed all the time about it and doom scrolls the news. And it's having such a high toll on our mental health. So I really hope that you guys are keeping yourself healthy and watching your bodies and brains needs. So if you need to take a day easy to just like unravel your thoughts in your brain, take it. Mental health is super important. Physical health is also important. So don't forget to drink water, eat vegetables and vitamins if your doctor prescribes some. And the worst part is the only thing that we can do for ourselves is basically continue keeping ourselves alive and happy as far as we can get. And knitting is one of those things that helps us through all the hardest moments of our lives. So try to channel your anger, your emotions that you don't want to burst out randomly. Channel them into knitting. Crafts are amazing for your emotional control. And this is actually why I created this Parrot Love Beret, because I feel like I have so many positive and sentimental emotions inside of me, but I don't have a place for them to let them out. Because there's no place for bright colors in my life right now, and I don't want this to be the case. So if you're interested, either come to Gigantium or check out Fingername's Etsy or website. Now let's continue with the usual podcast things. And the first one is obviously finished objects. I have quite a lot actually. Even if we ignore the beret, because it was a finished object in January, it was actually a very quick knit. I think I made it like after I created the pattern and unraveled it a few times. I think I made it in like 3 days. So for me, that is quite quick because I am not a monogamous knitter. I have like a lot of projects I'm working on at the same time. So that was impressive for me. Like I was proud of myself. But I did finish quite a few projects. The first one you have seen as a very recent cast on because I casted it on right before the New Year's. And it was the Advent project from my Advent calendar from Ylling. And I thought it will take me like a week because I saw a lot of influencers knitting it in a week. And I was like, well, it's called a shawl, but it looks just like a scarf. It's Fika Shawl by Ingelis Holst. And let me just say, it did not take me a week. I only finished it last week or even this week. I don't know what time is anymore. I doom scroll too much. So it's finally a finished object. It's quite huge, but just in time. I finished it the day No, I finished blocking it the day before the first snowstorm started in Aalborg. So it was very, 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 very nice timing because it's warm. It's super thin and drapey, but at the same time, because it's merino wool, it's very warm. And for some reason, I think it's because of the gauge, but it doesn't let a lot of wind through it. So it's just like perfect for using it as a winter scarf. I don't necessarily wear it as a shawl or anything. I just like kind of bunch it. I hope I won't touch the mic. I bunch it up around my neck like this, and it helps me a lot. And also, if I'm getting my ears cold, I put it on my head like this and kind of use it as a hood. Also works. What can I say about the pattern and the yarn altogether? The yarn was lovely, amazing. I love it. If I was rich, I would definitely continue buying this yarn for any fingering weight projects because it's super soft. It's not splitty at all. It has a very nice yardage. It doesn't peel at all, like at all. I've worn this shawl every day for the last few days under my coat, under my above my sweater, so it has a lot of like friction with different fabrics. No peeling at all, which is very good because like I usually knit with quite cheap yarns, so it makes sense that they peel, but even the ones that I've tried that were more expensive, they have at least some peeling after that. This one doesn't have any. I absolutely love these. I don't know what they were supposed to be, bows or maybe something else, but these cables, I call them pastas, so I called my pasta scarf, and I really like how they look. Also, I'd never thought that this color was my color, but I kind of feel like after wearing for a few days, I see that maybe it does match me nice. I have very big troubles understanding the colors that suit me or not, but this one seems like it works good on me. Like I feel like it works on me. Tell me in the comments if you think this is my color because I am obsessed with it. So altogether, it was on my needles for 4 weeks. I finished it the evening before the 1st of February. So it was the January finished object. And I was very happy about it. I was really rushing through it because I really wanted to finish it in January. But that's not the only shawl I finished. No, not the only scarf. Basically not the only neck accessory. Because I actually casted on and finished another one that was made from the same yarn as in the parrot's beret. Because the amount of yarn that is in one skein of pink cockatoo is 100 grams skeins, I think. So basically half of it went to the scarf number 5 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and the other half went into the beret to hold double. So one skein, the full set of accessories. Isn't that cool? So yes, this is scarf number 5 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I made it in the size scarf, but I think that since I did not do the gauge swatch, it's a bit smaller than it was supposed to be as a scarf. So it's more, I would say, bandana size. Still, nevertheless, I wear it as a scarf. I don't really mind it being too small for me. And I also wear it as a bandana. It's very bright and it has this gorgeous, like, contrasting stripe on it. And people usually use like really contrast one, but I wanted to highlight the yellow in the main yarn more. So I used like just like some leftover, I think it was Drops Daisy that I had in this like butter yellow color. So I have this bright stripe. The thing is though, like I did something wrong. As you can see, it's curling up because in the design you are working the last rows in a very specific technique that was supposed to make it non-rolling. Mine rolls. So I either did the technique wrong or my cast off was too loose because, as you can see, it doesn't keep tension. So it does this. I'm a bit sad about it. Will I try to rip off the ending and redo it? No. Because I really like it and I wear it a lot, actually. So I wear my Fika shawl when it's really cold, and this one I wear inside buildings because it's very warm, but it's very thin. So it's just perfect to wear around your neck when you are a bit chilly in the cafe, or even at my home. I do wear it sometimes. So love it, love the pattern. I mean, my favorite thing is knitwear knows how to write a good pattern. You probably know that. So there were no problems. Everything was very well described. It had videos. And I actually got the pattern for free because she had this, maybe she still has it, I'm not sure. But like she had this offer that if you buy some pattern off your website, you will get this pattern for free. And since I already knew I want to buy the Ava jacket pattern, I bought it and got this pattern for free. So I'm very happy about it. And I actually think that I gotta make myself another one of these because it's a simple, super simple construction. Like it's the most mindless knit you can imagine. And it's very quick to knit up. I think I made it in like a few days as well. So I feel like I'm gonna make myself another one just because it looks cute and it's quick. And as far as I understand that, like triangle scarves are kinda in right now, so why not? One project I finished in January and started also right before the New Year's is something I can't physically show you because it's already in Ireland, because it was a gift knit for my friend. She had a birthday in the middle of January, so I made her this turtleneck called Aurora turtleneck. It's by Russian knitwear designer, so I can't really give you any info on the pattern because it was literally sent to me on Telegram in a closed chat. Honestly, every time I touch onto like Russian knitting community, I find everything weird and I don't do that anymore. I already told you in one of the previous videos, it was quite a hard project for me because I don't really know Russian terms for different knit related things. So I kind of had to learn a new language, Russian knitting language. But in the end, it was quite all right. I don't think it was the best described pattern because it was described row by row, even though like 50 rows did the same thing, just like increases in the same place all over again. So normally designers will say like, repeat this 50 times, right? But no. So I was not very happy about that. And also I was definitely not happy about the yarn choice, but it's kind of something that was unnegotiable because this yarn choice, and in this particular case, it was drops of alpaca, brushed alpaca silk. It was because I bought it for a previous project I made for this friend. And I didn't use it up because I hit gauge without it. So it was just like lying in my stash. So I promised her to use it up for this thing. And I bought some more because it took me like 6 balls of brushed alpaca silk for the whole turtleneck. But the problem is that when you're knitting something that is like very drapey and has a lot of like a very, very, very loose gauge because it was knit like on very thick needles with very thin yarn, it's very like holey, right? So it can be very, very, very bad for your self-esteem as a knitter because your tension problems are a bit more visible when you can see every stitch in particular. Let's just say I was very discouraged about my own knitting for some time, and also it was just a hell to knit with. It was alpaca was everywhere. It's like it's the yarn that pills a lot while you're knitting. Everything was an alpaca, and I should have expected that because I used it before, but I still everything about this project was basically something I did not like, but since it was a gift knit, I still powered through it. And in the end, it looks quite all right, I think. Blocking helped a lot, and I hope she likes it. She never commented about it. She just said that like after the delivery, the sleeves were a bit like crooked because it was like packed in a tight box. And she never actually said anything about it ever since. So that was not my favorite project to make. Let's just say it like that. what was one of my favorite projects to make is something I finished just a few days ago. And you're gonna love it, guys. You're gonna love it. It took me a long time. I cast it on in the beginning of January. And even though it's a very small project, it took me a long time. It's Kitten Catch Mittens by Florence Miller, handmade by Florence. And it was also my first project that I worked on Chiago shorties. I told you a little bit about it in my previous video, but basically at first I could not get how to use shorties at all. But once I understood how to use them, I loved them. It's super easy to use them. It's super comfortable. 10 out of 10. Chiago knows what they do. I hope that their quartz needles that they finally released, and if you've been watching this channel, you know I've been waiting for them to release quartz. They finally released them, but I'm still waiting for any of the shops in Denmark to receive the needles from Chiago. I know one particular shop, I texted them, and basically now I definitely know that they have ordered the quartz, but they're still not in their stock, so I'm a bit disappointed about that. I broke all of my Knit Pro Nova cables, and I had to buy additional cables, and I'm not very happy about it. I am ready to let Knit Pro go. I'm in my Chiago era. Back to the mittens. I finished the first one quite some time ago. I finished it in the middle of January, I think. And as if you know me, I suck at doing anything that requires you to make a second thing, like second part of the project. So socks, if I don't make them 2 at a time, I suffer. Mittens, gloves, anything like that, I suffer. So after I finished this one, I did cast on the next one immediately, because otherwise I would never do that. And I know myself, and it's one of the ADHD things. So I had to cast it on immediately. I did. But then it was just lying on my table because I didn't want to work on it, because it was a second same thing. And it was also like a very concentration heavy project, you know, like my ADHD can never just like make a few rows of it. It's like 2 rows and I'm done, because you need to follow a pattern very precisely. But I found a solution. And it was a very fun way of me finding a solution. Some of my friends told me, like, I wonder why you made yourself cat mittens when you like dogs so much. And I was like, wait, you're right. So I spent a day basically redrawing the whole pattern into stitch fiddle and changing it so that I have another mitten that will be a bit different from this one. So I would like to present you what I had in the end. And let's just say that if this is a kitten catch mitten, because here's a kitten and here is a catch, it caught a fish. But what if after this kitten caught a fish, we had a puppy, a Shiba puppy to be more precise, that found this fish and snatched it. I mean, if that's not adorable, I don't know what is. Yeah, I changed the pattern for the kittens to make them into little Shibas. And the fish is now just bones of the fish. And I absolutely love it. So basically, yeah, the puppy ate the fish. So I now have a full like storyline for this mittens. And that made me power through the second glove in an unbelievable amount of time. So this one took me like 2 weeks, okay? This one took me a few days. I'm proud of myself, okay? I'm proud. This is the first like intricate color work project I've ever done. I never was a person to follow anything that has like a lot of instructions and a long chart to follow. But I mean, it was so worth it. Like, will I make something like this again? I don't know, but it was such a lovely experience. And I think these are the cutest thing that I have in my collection of not only knits, just like of stuff. So, and once again, just at perfect timing, what can be better in the snow than a pair of mittens? Now that we are done with finished objects, let's quickly segue into the whips. Currently on my needles, I have 2 projects. One project is a new cast-on and is a completely new project. Another one is something you've already seen and not so long ago, but I am changing it up a little bit. My main whip right now is Constellation sweater by Azeta. If you've been with me for quite time, you know I've been obsessed with the idea of the sweater since August or September, and I finally casted it on. I've bought all the yarn I need for it. It's Isaiah Aran Tweed and Isaiah Silk Mohair. It's not the ones that are recommended in the pattern, but I kind of felt like it's gonna be perfect for it, and I was right. It looks amazing. It does look like Milky Way or constellations in the sky, and I'm obsessed with how it looks like. I'm obsessed with how it feels like as well, to be honest. It's still rough and woolly texture, but at the same time it's super smooth, so I'm very sure I will be able to wear it next to my neck, next to anything. I love the fit. I can't show you right now because I'm wearing a mic, but maybe I will add a picture or something. Right now, I am finished with the front of the yoke, so it's ready to be joined in a round. And I am working on the back of the yoke. I still have around 30 rows to work. Then I will join it to knit in the round. And usually after that, I switch to working on sleeves because I want to see the whole fit before I start working on the body length. So I think that once I finish a ball of any of the 2 yarns I'm using, I will switch to sleeves and then I will finish the body. So far, all I can say is that pattern is super clear. The pattern is very, very nicely written. I am impressed actually, because imagine petite knits patterns, but without too much water and also with better tech editing. I'm sorry to say, but yes, with better tech editing. It has all the supporting materials, videos, everything you need. It doesn't have too many descriptions. It has just enough. And also, it doesn't have this thing that I hate about petite knits patterns. I'm sorry about that, but why does she, like in one paragraph, she will use the repeat row 1 and 2 5 more times, but then the next paragraph will be repeat row 1 and 2 6 times in total. In most cases that I saw in her patterns, they were very easily replaceable with one of the 2. So that the person that is knitting and following the pattern doesn't have to break their brain every time and check whether it was in total or it was more. I found it very annoying when my friend was just starting knitting and it was her first project and she was making Sophie hood. And this problem was there, and this inconsistency completely throws off people who are trying to follow the pattern. Now, Azeta's pattern is perfect this way. Like, it is very nicely written, highlighted. I might even say that it's the best pattern tech design-wise I've ever seen, to be honest. So yeah, I'm obsessed with the pattern. I absolutely love the yarns and it feels like it's gonna be my favorite sweater when I finish it. And because it's close to chunky weight, I think it's chunky weight right now. Like I'm holding an Aran weight yarn with lace weight, so it's pretty much like light chunky. So it's working up quite quick, but because it's quite thick, I don't work on it too much without pauses because like my hands can become a bit iffy because there's a lot of tension. But overall, I love the project. I'm very excited about it. And I can already say that it's going to be a staple in my garderobe and I'm very happy about it. The second project I'm working on, I'm not that excited about because if you were following me once again on this channel, you've seen my Christmas sweater where I took the gingham jumper from Friday Knits and I decided that I will change it to be a Christmas sweater, basically by changing all the details into white boucle fluff. But I started it in December while working on a lot of gift knits. So I did not finish it as a sweater. I finished it off as a vest, and it was ugly as hell. I hated it. I literally hated it. It made me have a little knitting burnout, to be honest. So a few days ago, when I finished both the Kitten Catch Mittens and the shawl I was working on, I had to pick another project to make, right? And I went in full on choice pearlizers because I have a big yarn stash and a lot of projects I want to work for, but for some reason I couldn't choose anything. I don't know why. I feel like it might be a knitting burnout that can happen if you're forcing yourself to do stuff that you don't really like. In my case, it was too many gift knits. Let's just be real. I did too many gift knits. So once I finished, I was just like sitting there staring at the wall, and I realized that if I continue, I'll just become more and more sad. So I need to cast on something. But if I'm having that much troubles choosing what to cast on, why don't I work on something that I already have started but am not satisfied with? So that's why I cut off all of the ribbings, all of the finishings of this Christmas vest. Had a very interesting moment on TikTok when people were literally worried about my mental health after I posted a video of me cutting off parts of my sweater. Yeah, guys, I was all right. I was just being dramatic. And now I'm working on the collar. I'm basically remaking it with just like using the same drops air for the collar. It's gonna be just like the pattern suggested in the beginning. So by the end of it, I will need to make both sleeves since it was a vest. And I also need to unravel the ribbings on the bottom. And I think I will need a few more rows of checkers, and then I will do a proper rib in this red color. So I'm very happy that I stopped hating this project. You know, I had a lot of emotions in December about it because I was finishing it literally a few hours before Christmas Eve. And I was tired, I was knitting too much, my hands hurt, and in the end it looked ugly. So altogether it was a very unsatisfying experience. But a month was just the perfect time for me to let go of it and to stop hating it. So now I feel absolutely fine working on it. So yeah, it's my second whip. I have a need to cast on something else because I need some small projects to take with me. So I'm still choosing what I want to do. Maybe it's going to be some kind of hat. Maybe I will make myself gloves because I want gloves, but not fingerless ones. I haven't chosen anything yet. So we'll see how it goes. If you want to see earlier what I'm going to choose, you need to subscribe to my Instagram because I post in stories all of my new cast-ons. Or you'll have to wait another month to know what I did. So, but that's it about my current projects. So about my knitting plans. As I said, I want to cast on something small, but I haven't decided what yet. And also, I realized that I have all the yarn I need for one of the projects of my Make 9, which is Before Vest by Teti Lutzak. So I bought the pattern for it. And I think that after I'm finished with the gingham jumper, the next project will be Before Vest. But we'll see how it goes. I might change my mind. And also I have another design I'm working on right now. It's gonna be a scarf, and it's gonna be related to a TV show about two cute gay guys who are in love and having trouble showing off their relationships. And you know what? The show is not heated rivalry, so just take it or leave it. But there's one plan that I really want to talk to you about because I kind of feel like it affected a lot of us. I know that a lot of knitters, both on my TikTok and Instagram, my mutuals, just my friends, they all decided that this year is going to be stash busting year. So people went on a full yarn ban in January, and now everybody is upset with themselves because most of us were not able to follow this yarn ban. And I'm very with you on this one, guys. I just want to be the devil's advocate and just tell you that Just because you broke the ban, it doesn't mean that you are a bad person or whatever you are trying to tell yourself just because you feel this guilt of spending money again on yarn that you could have not bought. But here's the thing though, any ban in any situation, so like whatever it is, a food ban, a media ban, any kind of I'm not doing this at all, is a very severe case of deprivation yourself of something that you're used to. So it's a very hard switch of routine that it's first of all very hard to follow and keep doing it. It's not just like about you being weak or whatever, it's just very mentally exhausting and hard. Second of all, it's very unsustainable in a long period of time, because if you are completely banning yourself from doing something, there's this thing that you are not changing your routine or the way you behave about like your behavioral things that you do. You are just like giving yourself some time out to not do it, and then you will continue the same way you did before. So it's like in the long run, it won't really help with your problem of having too much yarn. It will just make you sad and pathetic for some time because you are not able to buy any yarn, but in the end you will still not reach your goal. So if your goal is just not spend money for some time, that's totally fine, that works. But if your goal is to become more balanced with your stash, so that you don't have an overflowing stash anymore, it's better to change your habits than to just ban yourself from buying yarn. So what I would propose you do is not tell yourself, I'm not buying any more yarn and like at all for this end period of time, but better give yourself a very fixed budget that will be ongoing for a long period of time. So for example, you are giving yourself $30 a month for buying yarn for half a year. If you haven't spent these $30, like whatever you have left from this budget, it moves on to the next month. So it's basically budgeting yarns without needing to starve yourself from buying it. $30 is just like an example. Obviously, everybody has different budgets, so just like pick the number that works for you and that you know that you will be able to get something good with it, but like not too much. And this way you will be motivated to, first of all, not spend money now and save this up for the next month to buy something better. And you won't be feeling this, I can't buy anything, I need to suffer with what I have, which is not very good for any creative person, to be honest. Like, we are very chaotic, aren't we? We like to improvise. Sometimes we need some new stuff. Even to use the old stuff, we need some new stuff just to combine it. For example, I have a lot of one skein quantities of yarns, and I can make 1 million scarves, or I can buy sweater quantity of some yarn and add this yarn to it so that I use it up, but also I don't feel restricted in my craft, right? This all saying, I am absolutely a hypocrite because I did buy too much yarn this month. My worst enemy is Vinted, because I go on Vinted religiously every day just to check what's there, just like have a look. And it's a very bad habit of mine. I'm trying to fight it, but it doesn't work yet. And the problem being is that on Vinted, sometimes you find very nice deals on yarns that are just too hard to walk from, you know? Like, for example, I saw somebody, let me check the actual price that I paid. Give me a sec. Bag of yarn someone was selling on Vinted. It was an assortment of different Ullin yarns that I know that I like the brand, but I haven't tried all their yarns, right? So I basically saw that they have in this bag of yarn 1 or even 2 balls of Ulling's super soft wool plus angora that I really wanted to try because it sounds super soft and nice. But I was trying to talk myself out of buying it, because when you are paying for a whole bag of yarn that has 2 balls of yarn that you want to try, you are not saving up money because you did not want to buy all the other stuff from the beginning. Basically, you just like get additional yarn that will lie in your stash, and you are not getting anything from it. So yes, you're spending less as if you were buying from the website new, but you're also spending more money. And it's better to just go to their website and buy the yarn you want to try, okay? And I was talking myself into it for a month. And then the seller decided to lower the price, and basically the whole bag was the price of this one ball of yarn that I want to try. And all of my logic went into the window, and I was mad at myself because now I have a lot of different yarns. Some of it I know how I'm gonna use, so it's not all too bad. And also there was cashmere that I did not expect to be there, which is awesome. But in the end, yeah, I wanted to make my stash smaller, and I actually got much more yarn into it. Not ideal, right? And my second offense was someone selling, I think it was like 300 grams of heavy merino by Knitting for Olive. If you know me, I love this yarn. And they were basically selling 6 balls of yarn for the price of 2 balls of yarn. And in my head, I was like, well, that's the yarn I use all the time, right? Like I use it for a lot of gift knits. I use it for a lot of my projects. I gotta grab it. And I grabbed it. Now I do have yarn that I'm fairly sure I will use up, because it's once the gift knitting season comes, it's gonna be my main yarn to work with. I always work with heavy merino, and I did save up money in this case if I use it. But right after the purchase, I was feeling a lot of guilt because I just got 6 more balls of yarn into my stash. And the worst part is that we are actually moving apartments quite soon. So the less stuff I have, the better, because moving is expensive. So I want to make it as light and fast as possible. So it brought me shame and this feeling of guilt towards myself, even though I was supposed to be happy about buying yarn, because it's my favorite yarn. So there's a lot of psychological things in our brains that affect us in these moments. So the only thing that can help us is self-analyzing, understanding where our yarn purchases come from. For example, what is the underlying cause for you wanting to buy this particular yarn? Is it something creative that you want to do and it's not an impulse buy and you know that you need it to finish a project? Is it yarn for combining it with the already existing in your stash yarn? Or is it shiny new yarn that you really want to try and you're just gonna buy it and use it someday, or maybe not use it someday, and you're just looking for a hit of dopamine? Self-analysis is very important in this case and in any kind of overconsumption. So just try to not be too hard on yourself, try not to be guilty, and try not to be too restrictive with yourself, because any kind of restriction doesn't really benefit you in long term. Or at least that's what I'm told. Now the last block of our discussion is media I consumed. I didn't really consume a lot of media this month. I was mostly watching YouTube podcasts and YouTube videos. A lot of YouTube videos, actually. Maybe too many. I've been playing a video game called Luma Island. I loved it. It's basically Stardew Valley, but you don't focus on growing stuff. You are focusing on making stuff to help the city. So you kind of like find different resources to create stuff, to promote yourself to the next level of being in different professions. So you like have a few different professions like fishing, mining, not mining, but like engineering or whatever, a jeweler, cooker, and everything like that. And you are just trying to grow in these professions by collecting resources and exploring the 4 locations that they are in the game. They're quite big actually. So we started playing this game last year with my friend, and she very quickly did not like playing it, so we kind of dropped it, and now I was in the mood, so I definitely am playing this game, and I might be doing the get all the achievements kind of thing, which is stupid, and I know that. But for some reason, I find it calming right now, so I'm gonna continue doing it. It's for my mental health. Other types of media I started consuming were a few books that I started, but I haven't finished any of them. So I can't really tell you anything about them until I finish them. But there is like 4 books I'm reading at the same time. Guilty as charged. But I guess in the next podcast, we're gonna have a lot of books to discuss. And I did watch one TV show. It's a new TV show on Netflix called Sullivan's Crossing. Basically, the creators of Virgin River were like, hey, so we have this Virgin River TV show that we have already like, I don't know how many seasons, but more than 5. And people are getting tired of it. So let's make another TV show by slightly rewriting the script to Virgin River and casting Chad Michael Murray as the main character. So what could go wrong? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very like feel-good kind of comfort TV show, TV series, Netflix series, whatever it's called these days. Series, just series. It has the actor from Gilmore Girls who played Luke. I don't remember his name, but it's very nice to see him on screen because he's a very comfort-looking person if you are a big Gilmore Girls fan. Let's just say that it's not something I'm gonna rewatch, but it was nice for a few evenings of just like feeling cozy, warm, and this like small town energy where everybody is like family and helping each other. We all need this communal feeling nowadays. So that was nice. Plot is not so nice, but who am I to criticize it? I make stupid knitting videos on TikTok. Who am I to criticize anybody for their plot decisions? So yeah, if you are up for something very light, no brain power needed kind of watch, it's very cozy. So I would recommend in this case. And that's about it. I am very thankful that you've stayed with me until this point of the video. I know it's been a long one, but also a lot of things happened throughout January. So that's why this podcast is so long. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and giving it a like. You might also want to follow me on other social media, such as TikTok, where I post a lot of goofy knitting content, or on Instagram, where I post my more live versions of knits and progresses, and also just like live content. And also, I hope that I will see you in Gigantium next weekend, where Fingernamed and I will be selling the kits for Parrot Love Beret. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.